Hey everybody, welcome back to another multimeter review, a cheapo multimeter review. You know, I think we need a national anthem for cheap multimeters. Cheapo me. No, I'm not going to sing. I'm going to save you guys that headache. Yeah, but wouldn't that be cool? Alrighty, so in the spotlight today we have the SATA 03055 digital multimeter. This is a brand new meter from a company that is called SATA. Definitely new on the scene, and let's see how good these meters are. First thing you'll notice when you look at this meter is the fact that it is that army green. Yeah, kind of that X-Tech look, maybe Maztec-ish thing going on, but it's definitely got a green thing going on, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Presentation, I'm going to say full marks go to SATA. You don't often see meters being shipped in a box of, well, this quality, really. It's a very, very solid enclosure. In the box, as you can see, you get a SATA user manual, and something else you don't normally see, it's all, well, it's not all color, but the initial front is color, and it is in a few different languages, including English, and actually quite a nice manual. So kudos SATA for doing something a little bit different in terms of cheapo multimeters and actually giving you a halfway decent looking manual. Also, you get this, I believe it is a warranty card with the date of manufacture, so it is 2018. I'm assuming perhaps my Chinese is not too good. But definitely this is a new meter, so relatively recent in terms of the actual fab date. So you do have your registration warranty information. Don't know how good this would be if you're living in North America or Europe, for instance, but there you have it. As well, you get a quality symbol. So somebody did actually verify that this meter met a certain specification or criteria and stamped it accordingly. Now, as we're talking about that box, yeah, this is a really heavy-duty box. I don't usually go into boxes when I'm doing these reviews, but hey. And as you can see, look at that. Wow. Very Christmassy. Very, very Christmassy. Very Chinese New Year. And glitzy. So, yeah, in terms of presentation, SATA, you did quite an impressive job. Of course, you also get a set of leads, and if we look at these leads, they are size-wise a good size, actually perfect size for my hands, and they do have a 10 amp rating on the lead. Anything else we can see? They are branded with the SATA logo, Cat3 600 volts, and let's see if I can just take that off. Yeah, it's on there really good. Ugh. Wow, I gotta tell you, out of any meter test lead I've ever tried to take those tips off, this one takes the cake as being the hardest to remove. I actually had to use these pliers to pull them off, and boy did I have to pull. So I didn't think at one point that they would even come off, but indeed they do. They are just in there really good, actually a little too good, so it should be a little bit easier than that to remove. Really not too pointy, you know, what can I say? We'll see how good they are soon enough. But yeah, those tips really are a pain to remove. In the hand itself, when you're actually holding this meter, it definitely has that phone kind of a feel. It's really weird to describe, but it feels more like I'm holding a cell phone than a multimeter. So kind of cool. And whoa, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Wow. Ooh, hot, hot red. Don't see too many meters looking like that on the back. Interesting. So it's two-tone. We have the army green in the front and the sultry red in the back. Yeah. Now, one nice thing as well, since we're looking at the back, is you can see that it has your fuse ratings right on the exterior of the case. So if you happen to blow a fuse, you can pick one up and know exactly what the value is before you actually go ahead and open up this meter. So that's always nice to see. It does take your standard AAA batteries, and 2 of them with that 1 battery enclosure right there. We'll take a little closer look at that shortly as well. If you look at the iPhone X and the SATA multimeter, you'll notice they look kind of the same. No, I'm not saying that the SATA is a definite iPhone clone, definitely not, but it does have that cell phone look to it. I don't know if this was intentional from SATA or not, but it definitely is not your typical looking meter. Oh, hang on a second, I gotta grab that. Hello? Yeah, I'll call you back. Thanks. Something else worth pointing out as well, if you're a lefty, you're probably going to like this meter because it definitely feels, to me at least, being a right-handed, that it is geared more towards a left-handed person. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my general gist. Obviously, I'm using my left hand here to change the ranges. If I do it with my right, I can't use my thumb anymore. So, yeah, it's a little interesting. But, yeah, if you're a lefty, you're definitely going to like this setup. So when we actually turn the meter on, as you can see, the display is actually quite nice. Now I believe that SATA, when they were designing this meter, they pretty well had the idea right from the get-go that you're going to be using this meter either in your hand, but chances are flat on the ground like so. And you can tell that the viewing angle is definitely geared towards just being flat. There is no tilt stand, there is no standing bail, and there's not even a like a hand cord to put this around. So generally speaking, you will be using this meter completely flat, horizontal, like so. Now that being said, the LCD does seem to be optimized for this sort of... Starting off with the ranges, first in line is volts AC, followed by volts DC, millivolts, diode, continuity, and resistance, capacitance, amps DC, milliamps, and finally, last but not least, microamps. So you can see this little meter has all of the standard features covered. You've got your millivolts, your volts AC DC, you've got your microamps, milliamps, and your standard current range. So that is pretty cool on such a, I will say, niche slash cheapo meter. Also, when you're turning that range switch, there's a very subtle beep. It's not too loud. Definitely lets you know, though, that your ranges are changing. Now, another really nice feature, and boy, don't we know, living in the land of cheapo multimeters, the backlight can be so nefariously crazy, right? You turn it on, sometimes it stays on for 15 seconds, sometimes a minute, sometimes a millisecond. You really don't know this day and age what you're getting in terms of a backlight, if you're even going to get a backlight. Hey, the SATA, I like their implementation. Look at this. Hold down on the hold button. Backlight. Best part is, it doesn't go out. That's right, backlight actually stays on. It stays on until you want to turn it off. So simple. Such a simple, novel idea, but it just makes so much sense. So thank you, SATA, for listening to us and implementing a backlight that will turn off when we want it to turn off. Good job. So it's kind of reminiscent of the Fluke 101 in terms of where the input jacks are seated. So right below, right at the bottom of the meter. So that's where they are. And as you can see on the left, we have the current jack. Right in the middle, we have the common. And on the right, it is the volt shared with the milliamp, microamp, resistance, continuity, and diode. And these are fused as well, so when we tear this guy apart, it will be very interesting to see what's on the inside. So we're going to start some testing next. First, we'll do a precision test for voltage. Okay, I have the precision voltage reference out. We are sitting at 250 millivolts, and the SATA is showing us 249.7, so 3 counts out. Sitting at the 2.50 volt setting, we are showing 2.501 volts, so pretty close in terms of accuracy, quite good. Next up, it's AC voltage, and we're setting at 120 volts according to the household current, and the SATA is showing us 121.4, so close enough. Take note that this meter does not measure frequency or duty cycle. In terms of a refresh rate, this meter is capable of doing 2 to 3 times per second with a 10 mega ohm input impedance. Next, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of ranges with the Fluke demo board. We'll put this into resistance, and we'll start off by testing this 0.5 ohm resistor. Here we go. So let's try it again. So showing up as 0.4. This has a 40 mega ohm capacity in terms of overall resistance values. Let's take a look at this 22 mega ohm resistor. So showing up is around 23.2 ohms. Pretty fast to settle. Yeah, I like it. Next up is capacitance. Now the SATA has a range of 10 nanofarad to 1000 microfarad or 1 millifarad. So I've got a 1000 microfarad or 1 millifarad electrolytic cap sitting right now on the capacitor tester, and it is giving us about 981 microfarad. So let's just see how this compares with the SATA. And the SATA is giving us a 1044 microfarad or 1.044 millifarad. So good job, SATA. Now in the smaller ranges, this is a 4.2 nanofarad capacitor, and yeah, no problems there as well, showing up as 4.2, spot on. All right, so let's just see how high this little baby can go. Here I've got a another Rubicon. This is a 10,000 microfarad, so 10 times what this SATA is claiming in terms of a range. But you know what? I like to live on the edge, so let's give it a try. I will hook up the leads. And now remember, this only is advertising a 1000 microfarad or 1 millifarad range. Here we go. It's thinking. Oh, right on. Look at that, folks. 9.5 millifarads. So 10 times the advertised range. Awesome. All right, in diode mode, here we go, starting off with the yellow LED, and it illuminates, and we have a forward voltage indicator. Next is the green, and it is lighting it up, and once again, we do have that forward voltage drop. Coming up next is the red, and no worries there. On to the white, and perfect. Look at that forward voltage drop. Excellent. Finally, the blue LED. No worries there either. So 5 out of 5, folks. Lit them all up and gave us the forward voltage drop as well. Good job. Next up, it's continuity. That's right, continuity. You know, it's my favorite. Continue. Here we go. Default test leads. Hey, you know what? That's actually not bad. Not bad at all. It's latched. It's a little on the low side in terms of the volume. But 9 out of 10 times, it's a hit. Hey, oh yeah, it's time to bring out the Probe Masters. Hey, you know what? Let's see if it's any difference. A little bit louder. 10 out of 10. Obviously, fantastic continuity. I just wish it was a little bit louder, but hey, not so bad at all. Next up, we have the SATA in milliamp mode. Now, this has a 400 milliamp max rating, and we're sitting presently around 290 milliamps. And yeah, looking good. Power supply showing us is around 291-ish in the milliamp range, and we're pretty well spot on. I'll just take it up a little bit more. So we're sitting now at 360 milliamps, and yet no worries there. So looking good. Time to get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get under the hood. Turning it around. Wow, look at that red hot splash Ferrari red. Gotta like that. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws plus an additional screw for the battery. So first we will remove the battery. Okay, wow, that took a little while. Those screws were in there really, really good. So a total of 5 altogether, plus the battery housing. And they're just teeny little Phillips screws. So without further ado, let's take a look. Crack off that cover. Oh yeah, okay, well first thing, yeah. That's right, no shielding. Yeah. Here we are. Let's go in a little further. Wow. Hey. I gotta say, for a cheapy multimeter, it's getting better and better, folks. Things are really looking up for us cheapo multimeter aficionados. Something I'll point as well, for the battery cover, you can tell we do have one nice big brass insert here, so no worries about changing that battery. Too bad the fuses themselves are not easily accessible. So you'll have to take off the entire backing to get to those fuses. Taking a bird's eye view of the inside of the SATA multimeter. This is some really gorgeous looking PCB. We've got those 2 nice large ceramic fuses. On the milliamp side it's 400 milliamp, and on the current side we have a 12 amp, that's right, a 12 amp ceramic fuse. 2 amps higher than the current rating, so they're giving a little leeway for you in case something happens. So nice stuff. Take a look at those input jacks. Awesome. You know, this is quality. I'm really liking it. You've got them not only soldered into the PCB, but they are also screwed in with hex nuts directly in to those jacks. These aren't going anywhere. Now don't forget, this is a $20 meter, so SATA definitely went above and beyond in terms of the fabrication quality with this one, and really put some effort into the overall design. We have that daughter board on top of the regular PCB, and it also is alongside the battery housing, which is once again in a separate compartment, which is always good, because if you do have some battery leakage, you may perhaps forget about your meter and you pull it out of storage and voila, you have an acidy mess. Well, having it sort of compartmentalized like this is going to definitely reduce the risk of damage if something like that happens. Over here we have the piezo or speaker, and that is the LED directly underneath it for the display. Here's a cobbed IC, and we have a crystal oscillator. And as you can see with that crystal oscillator as well, it's not just thrown onto the PCB. They've actually retained it with some sort of a glue, and instead of having it move around or flop around, it is fastened really nicely to that PCB. Here we have the current shunt as well, and just generally speaking, very nice tracks, very clean. God, I'm really impressed. Here we have the rotary switch with our 4 contacts, and it looks like there's a little bit of lube in there as well. And we have 2 more Phillips screws holding that rotary selector switch intact, so a little bit of attention to detail there. Very nice. We have one lonely PTC over here, and if you can see, there are the selector tracks themselves. Not many of them. Thick and well spaced, so no worries about arcing here. So the one PTC is all I see in terms of the input protection, and no MOVs to be seen anywhere. Closing thoughts on the SATA 03055 digital multimeter. I am impressed. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen SATA and I gotta say, I want to see more. In terms of ranges, this meter has you covered. You go all the way from your millivolts down to your microamps and everything in between. For bench electronics or for taking it out on the road, you shouldn't have to worry. It even does capacitance, and as we saw, up to a whopping 10 millifarad, 10 times better than expected. Now this is a quality device, and you know what? I'm going to put this in the prize draw giveaway. That's right. Leave a comment below, and I will be doing a free giveaway of this SATA 03055 at the end of March. So leave your comments. Anybody who comments will automatically be entered into this draw. No, it's not an iPhone, but it's a pretty darn good looking meter. It does a lot of things right. Build quality is top notch. What more can I say? The SATA 03055 multimeter gets a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Hey, thanks for watching this review, everybody. Please leave comments. I love hearing the feedback. If you want to see a multimeter, let me know. Best of all, keep on testing.